Welcome and thank you so much for choosing to spend a few minutes of your day with me, fellow fans of Clash of Clans. It is your host, Galadon. It is the 8th day. It is 2019 in Clash of Clans, and Yetis are the troop of the day. And this, okay, well, let me tell you, at first glance, this looked like it was going to be absolutely impossible. Like, I literally thought that I'm screwed. I have to make a video about this. I have to try to 3-star this. It's never going to happen. Okay, it's actually one of the easiest and most fun challenges we've seen yet. So if you want to stay tuned, get all of the challenges 3-starred, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and use code Galadon because that's a requirement. Otherwise, I can't let you watch the rest of the video. I'm kidding, but if you would use code Galadon once in a while when you make a purchase in any Supercell game, I would love you forever, literally. And I don't use the term literally loosely. Okay, so the challenge is full of Scattershots. Scattershots and Yetis, 2019. And yes, this was my very first attack. Obviously, we were just kind of experimenting. You see, we have a bare minimum number of troops. Just a half a dozen Yetis, 8 wall breakers, 8 archers, and you're supposed to be able to defeat this thing? There's no flipping way, Galadon. It's never gonna... Okay. Well, obviously, each and every one of these challenges is kind of a puzzle, right? And in some cases, there are clues within the puzzles. And we definitely will see that here. This, again, is one of the easiest challenges, so let's see how fast we can get it done. And by the end of today's video, also check out the chapter titles if you want to fast forward ahead. You let me know in the comments how much faster you went than I did, because I got pretty fast, pretty efficient, but I'm sure everybody's going to beat me. Okay, so let's take another look at the challenge. And this is kind of where I started to decode it. And again, this is literally the live footage of the first time I ever saw this base in the developer build. So obviously, here we figure out, wait a minute, we can use skeleton spells to take out Scattershots. 4 on each of these 2. Wait a minute. Did anything attack any of those skeletons? I don't think so. Let's go back and look. Instead of 4, let's just drop 2. Well, obviously, as you can look around, nothing is able to touch these skeletons, and of course the Scattershots have that dead zone, so we realize just 1 skeleton spell is going to work, and then we see the clue. Look a little more closely and you will see a nice little tombstone next to 7 of the Scattershots. Okay, so obviously those are hints. A tombstone is a dead zone, right? And so sure enough, we can drop 7 skeleton spells that will never get touched by anything else. In fact, we can actually drop an 8th on the Scattershot on the right-hand side, and if you just let the skeleton spells work, eventually you will wipe out all but 1 Scattershot. So now we're getting somewhere. We drop all 8 of the skeleton spells, as you can see, on those 8 Scattershots. And then on the right-hand side, as in every challenge, there is a Troll Tesla. That is the reason that last Scattershot on the right-hand side cannot be taken down simply by skeleton spells. So very cool. I was just laughing when I figured this one out. It is so neat to kind of see how you can work through this. And it again is helping you with the fundamentals of Clash of Clans, knowledge about dead zones and skeleton spells. And of course, now our next step is to figure out how to deal with the rest of the base, because essentially the skeleton spells can wipe out all of the Scattershots. So we have to think about the right-hand side, and then it actually becomes an issue of time. Getting to those storages that are in individually walled off areas, and you've got Yetis in the defensive CC, a weaponized town hall. All of these things come together to challenge you to get the challenge. Okay, that's a little redundant, but you get the point. Challenge you to get the attack done in under 3 minutes, and I did have a couple of time fails early on. Eventually, we're going to figure things out. Now, also notice there are 8 archers, and there are 8 external collectors, the pumps, mines, and drills that ring the outside of the base. If you don't take those down early, you will end up with a Yeti-Go-Round. And you can see that a couple of Yetis at the bottom of the screen right here on the bottom right are doing the Yeti-Go-Round, and that means they will continue to work their way around the base after each pump, mine, and drill, and you will never get to the core. You will definitely time fail, and yeah, okay, so you've got to turn those around. The archers, though, do you really want to use one archer on each? I didn't. Perhaps that is a strategy that works, but again, there are going to be many different ways to finish this base off in under 3 minutes. This is just one. This is my way, and that is trying to get to the core with the wall breakers. So what we need to do is wait on the remaining wall breakers. You saw we used some right at the beginning, and we'll go back and talk about that in just a minute, but look right here as the Yetis have opened up 2 different compartments, and that has created a nice little pathway for my remaining wall breakers to travel all the way to the core, and that is key, especially when they just happen to go at this juncture right here and not only allow access for the Yetis to the Town Hall compartment, but also to that other gold storage compartment, again shrinking the amount of time that all of my little units spend banging on the walls, desperately trying to get through just to get to one storage. Okay, so we resume this attack. Here come the wall breakers. We've got the heal down, and the heal can help keep the wall breakers up. In this case, all of the Yetis had distracted the Inferno Tower's beams, and we got through. So now we are into the core. You'll notice that the leftover skeleton spells, with or without their little shields, that's why you see 2 different looking troops around the base. They will eventually get through most of the other storages. They will bore through walls, but it takes forever. And in a race against the clock, that is not going to be fun. So we want to try to get through as many walls with the wall breakers as we can. Again, there's always going to be variance in late stages of Clash attacks, meaning a little bit of luck, a little bit of change in positioning. No attack is purely science, so you're going to also be able to need to adjust on the fly. That one, 48 seconds remaining on the clock. Gonna try to beat it right here. This was my fastest attempt, and what I did to do it was over here on the right-hand side. I'm gonna focus archers on the gold mine and on this elixir collector right here, and that way the Yetis will not even begin the Yeti-Go-Round. Hopefully they will head towards the core of the base rather than backing back out, and that is going to save us time. And again, we need to watch for the pattern at which the enclosures are opened, where the Yetis are headed, and that can tell us when and where to drop our wall breakers. Now, I use one wall breaker to distract the Tesla and the Scattershot on the right-hand side, and then 3 to get it open on the far right at 3 o'clock on the base. That's the initial entry. As you can see right there, the Yetis are pouring in. Now, I need to wait to drop those archers because otherwise the Scattershots are going to hit the archers. So we've got to make sure the archers can survive the Scattershots. There they go. Now they're going to finish the gold mine first, then the elixir collector right about there. Here comes the elixir collector, and now the Yetis are headed towards the core. Now we just kind of have to, again, watch and hope that they choose a good wall. Here they didn't choose an ideal wall because there's no way that we're going to be able to get these wall breakers to the very, very core of this base yet. But maybe if we wait a little bit longer and a wall gets opened somewhere, we can try it. But again, unpredictability, it's true. You don't know where those wall breakers are necessarily going to go. They do seem to sometimes have a mind of their own, although of course there is pre-programming, and we do actually get it done. The same juncture gets opened. We sent them all in. They made it to 2 different openings. The heal spell was key. The Yetis are in the core, and there's a few skeleton spells out and about. You can see even the gold mines on the outside aren't really a factor late because you're going to be working on the storages while skeleton spells and maybe archers get that stuff done on the outside. Again, this was my favorite challenge so far of the 8 challenges that we have done. This has been an absolute blast, and again, I'll probably go back and try to beat my time. I'm wondering how many of you are going to beat my time. You can see the clock counting down to close to 1 minute right now, and it's so frustrating. We had over 1:20 left and no defenses, only 2 buildings to get through, and of course skeletons. Skeleton spells not great at boring through those high hit point storages, so eventually they get the job done, and we are going to finish our fastest attempt with 1 minute and 2 seconds remaining on the clock. Galafam, I hope you guys are enjoying these as much as I am, and the 10th Clash anniversary. Thank you for sticking around all the way to the end of the episode. Every single one of you is now a true hashtag Galafam member. That means you got to get out there, make the best of the rest of your day, week, month, and year, be kind to other people, animals, and the planet. I'll see you back here again tomorrow for more full attacks.
Galadon, this was the most fun challenge Yeti.